88. It don't matter.
Ew. Stick cup? This is a coffee mug. Don't do that. Ew. I'm judging you.
Hey, come here.
Huh?
We got 2 minutes.
Oh, babe.
Come
I
on.
don't like being on camera.
It'll be fine.
And I don't look good on camera.
Come on.
Devin.
It'll be fine.
Got too much going on here. Devin.
Come on, be fun.
You're spitting into a mug.
Yeah, happens.
Don't do this to me. I don't want this.
Alright. So, we got 1 minute. We'll do it at 3. I'll say 3, 2, 1, and then you do it.
I can't do it. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah,
Why are you doing this to me?
it's fine. Alright, we'll do it at 30 seconds. That way you don't have to wait. Alright.
No.
Damn hustling, 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 hustling,
It's your
hustling,
boy,
hustling,
Ski.
hustling, hustling, hustling.
Welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just in the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger daily market news and analysis. What is up, everybody? It's your girl Ski. Let me know how you're feeling out of 10 in the comments below, and how you're feeling about Bitcoin and the market.
Give her a hand. Alright, love you. What's up, everyone? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Make sure as I spam the like button, hitting that share so other people can spam that like button. Let's get this party started. What is up? What is up? Welcome back to the Matrix. You're not just the Matrix. You are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger daily market news analysis. Let's get this party started, y'all. Listen. Skeeter. Hey. Crushed it. 3, I'm at work. Well done. All right, listen, TikTok. Listen, I'm not on the BS today, TikTok. I am not on the BS today. I'm going to start this off right now and tell you, this is your last chance. Whoever the troll is that keeps coming in here and getting my account suspended for 30 minutes, I appeal it and then get back. If it happens today, there is no more TikTok charts. There's going to be a phone, and then if you want to see the charts, you're going to find it on YouTube. That's it. That's it. All right? So if you don't like my content, if it's not for you, I know, I get it. It's not for everybody. Keep it scrolling. If I keep showing up on your feed because I work at this insane rate, I get it. Block me and then keep it scrolling. This is your last chance, TikTok. I'm not on the BS today, or tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year. We're done. We done with the 90s. I'm done with it. 4, I'm at work. 2, just hit quads and some ground beef, sweet potatoes. Let's go, J.O. 6.9 out of 10. Hello. All right, let's get into it. Listen, I made a deep dive. That's really the video that I uploaded today was really like a Patreon video, but I just uploaded it for everybody today. And that's a-okay. So I just basically what I did is I would take a normal Patreon video members video, and I uploaded it for everyone. So that's the type of heat that I'm bringing. But listen, we're gonna get into it because right now I already got it up. Okay, it's only ever going to do anything. I mean, it's up 70% this week. What do you want? 70% this week. So on the top, we have Bitcoin from the war in Israel, and on the bottom, we have Bitcoin present day. And I think we have a similar, very, very similar structure playing out right now. This is what we talked about earlier in the video. So check that video out. Make sure you guys show it some love. But basically the exact same structure in the micro, and we have the same structure in the macro. And this is where I think that we're at right now. Leroy Jenkins. Can Solana go do 1,000 in 2030? By 2030, I would say so. There's way too many bears to move up. Yeah, there was way too many bears right here. Listen, there was way too many bears right here when the war in Israel. Listen. I need you to understand this. The war in Israel, the tariffs, is not worse than the war in Israel. Because what was being shoved down our throat, what was crammed down our throat every day by Fox, CNN, and every media outlet source was World War III is on the brink. I have news for you. The tariffs are not worse than World War III. They're just not. Okay, I'm sorry. But what it is we have the same exact structure. Okay, and I'm going to show you what I think, where we're at right now, and where I think that we're going. So you have this peak over here. You have a peak over here. So on the top is the war in Israel. This is back in 2023 through October. So basically from March through October. And then we have from December of 24 through present. So you have a peak up here, a peak right here. Then you go higher. And then you go higher. And then you start to skid. Your creek. Skid, creek. You take it all out, boom, selling climax. Take it all out, boom, selling climax. Violent crash. Your little automatic reaction, your secondary test, the rules of Wyckoff state. What? They state what? This is a master class. Take notes. They state what? The secondary test goes lower than the selling climax. Okay? Secondary test goes lower than the selling climax. Secondary test goes lower than the selling climax. And then what starts to happen? You get a higher low, a higher low. You get a higher high, breakout. Okay, so what do we have right now? Do we have these stipulations? Let's go on the 5 hour. Okay, so we got a higher low. All right, that's one check. We got a higher low. Okay, that's two checks. Okay, higher low. Okay, we're good. Oh, higher low again. Okay, higher low again. Okay. Higher high. Yep. Higher high. Yep. Higher high. Yep. Breakout. So am I saying breakout is imminent? Tomorrow. I'm saying we're coming out of a bear trap. This was a bear trap. This is the end of the story. Boom. We're coming out. This was a bear trap. Coming from 31K back to 25K was a bear trap. All the bears woke up out of hibernation. Because they were saying back here at 15K, they were saying at 16K, excuse me, they were saying we're going to 12K, we're going to 10K, we're going to 3K. That's what they were saying. They were beating their chests. We're going lower. Economic conditions. FTX. They were beating their chests, right? And they went into hibernation because they did, Bitcoin did basically 10 years of stock market gains in a couple of months. A 1x, aka a 100% move. Are we currently in a bear trap? That is my thesis. Yes. That is my thesis, that we are in a bear trap. And this is the exact structure that we have in the micro. And I would say in the macro, when we look at the altcoins, I would say it's a bear trap too, right? There's different structures on different time frames that have the same setup. Okay, so let's look at the altcoins and where I think that we're at. So what I have now on top is Bitcoin on the daily chart. And I think it is a massive, massive bear trap. Why do I think it's a massive, massive bear trap for Bitcoin in the micro and the altcoins in the macro? Well, let's look at the total 3, shall we? Okay. All right, so listen, what I have here, and I already have them circled because we've already talked about this. So this is the same as this time frame right here, and this is the same right here. The C19 crash is the same. These are the same dates, okay? These are the same dates. I'm not going to show you the end of the story just yet. Hold on, be patient now. All right, so we got Bitcoin on the top. We have the total 3 on the bottom, both on the daily charts, both looking at from the C19 crash all the way to the January peak. This January micro peak where Bitcoin pulls back 30%. Okay? What is a bear trap? A bear trap is where you have a pullback in the market and the bears come out of hibernation and they think it's a bear market and then they get absolutely face-meltingly wrecked. That's a bear trap. It traps people who are biased to being bearish. That's what a bear trap is. There are people that are biased to being bullish. They call those bulls. And there are people that are biased to being bearish. Those are bears, right? I am neither a bear nor a bull. I'm a savage. And you should trade like that. Okay? Just let the market come to you. Don't have your biases. Long term, that is. You can have your biases in the micro. But let the market come to you. Don't be a bear or a bull. But if you're bearish, that means you think that the market's going to go down. If you're bullish, you think the market's going to go up. If a bull were to hit you, you go up in the air. If a bear were to hit you, it would maul you to the ground. That's why they call it bearish and bullish. Bitcoin on top, total 3 on bottom. Total 3 is everything that's not Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is what I would measure as a basket of coins. Here's your basket to measure the altcoins. Okay, so this is the same time frame. C19 crash right here. January peak. Okay, and what I'm going to show you is the violence in the move from Bitcoin from this time frame. So Bitcoin during this time does a 10x. This is a lifetime of stock market gains. Bitcoin does it in less than a year. And what I said back in 2022, is Bitcoin is the biggest portion of my portfolio. And the reason why is because in the bear market, it comes down first, the least, and it goes up first when the time is to be done. That's what it did. That's what it's doing now. Okay, so where I think we're at with Bitcoin is basically this bear trap of 2021, as well as a mix between the bear trap of 2021 and the war in Israel and the micro. Okay, so Bitcoin does a 10x during the same time frame. Look at the total 3 during the same time frame. It's up. Yeah, sure, it's up, but it's basically flat. Okay, I think it does a 2x during the same time frame, 2.5x. Bitcoin vastly outperformed. There was no violent moves in the total 3. There was no life-changing money. But what happens after Bitcoin pulls back? This is a bear trap right here. That's what that is. What happens? Bitcoin goes on to do another 1x. That's good. A 1x is good. That's a decade of stock market gains. That's what Bitcoin does. A 1.2x, a 124%. Okay. All right, but I'm going to show you from the same time frame right here. Let me show you what happens with the total 3 after this bear trap. Boom. Come on now. Everyone keeps telling me, but Ski, like when was the last time that the altcoins were at their bear market lows during this time? I don't know. Last cycle? Last cycle in February, we're 30 days off? February of 2021? I don't know. Last cycle? So there you go. That's where I think we are in the macro, and what I think we're doing in the micro is the same exact structure right here. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom, bam, bop, bam, bow. Boom, boom, bop, bow. All right. I'll go over it one more time because I know there's a lot more people now. In the live stream, we'll cover it one more time, and then we'll get into your guys' questions, concerns, thoughts, coins, all that and more. Okay, so again, Bitcoin. We got Bitcoin during the war in Israel. Okay. And I'm comparing the war in Israel structure and sentiment to the same as the tariffs. Okay. To me, sentimentally, it is the same. It is a bear trap. Again, a micro bear trap. And, okay, I'm going to show you guys. Okay. So let's cover this. So to me, this is the same structure. You got a lot of the same, sentiment of like, you know, we're going lower. Everyone's scared. There's a lot of fear. Like, listen, there was no more fear than World War III being on the brink of happening. As much as you might hate the tariffs and think that they're awful, I promise you the World War III narrative was worse. I promise you it was worse. Okay? So what do we have right here? Look at this structure. I haven't even broken it down, and you can tell me. You can see how it's very similar, but let's break it down. So you have this high over here, this high over here. And then you have a high that goes even higher than this high. And then you have a high that goes even higher than this high. And then you just start to creak, just kind of on a slow little downtrend here. Creak, bam, take it all out. Then you have this slow little downtrend here. Creak, bam, take it all out. Selling climax right here. Selling climax right here. Secondary test goes lower than the selling climax. That is the pit of despair. September 11, 2023, that was the lowest my community felt since FTX went to zero, maybe lower. Same thing right here, the pit of despair. We're cooked. That's what they said. How do I know? By the way, the rules of Wyckoff. Secondary test goes lower than the selling climax. That's textbook. A bottoming structure, the secondary test goes lower than the selling climax. The selling climax is the true bottom. The secondary test goes lower. That's textbook. Okay? And how do we know it's a selling climax? Okay? Well, let's see. Look at the RSI right here for the selling climax. And I'm going to take this off just so you can see that the secondary test does go lower. Okay? So let's zoom this in a little bit so you can see. Let's examine this. Look at the RSI right here. It's deep in the red. Okay? And then you start to get what's called a divergence. Okay? So you start getting an uptrend on the RSI. Look at the secondary test. The secondary test goes lower, but the RSI is higher. Okay, did we get that? Yes, we did. Selling climax is lower than the secondary test on the RSI, even though the secondary test is lower in price. Okay, so that's a lot of similarities. And then what do you start to get? Higher low, breakout. Higher high, breakout. Okay, so what do we have? Higher low, higher high. What's next? Come on now. This is a master class. Take notes. All facts, no printer. Come on now. So you're saying there's a chance. Come on now. I want y'all to remember when Bitcoin gets above $118,000. I want you to remember who was still bullish. Who never was like, oh, the bear market's here. I want you to remember that. I want you to remember who wasn't front running. All right? Am I the greatest? Do I never make mistakes? No, but I show up every day. When it's awesome, I'm going to high five. When it sucks, I'm going to be here, giving you reassurance. So you're saying that
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
What total market cap do you think we peak at? Between 6 and 8 trillion is the short answer. Realistically, 7 trillion is my actual target for the 2618, and 8.8 trillion is my bull case. But just call it 6 to 8 trillion and look for opportunities to de-risk at these points. Do you think April 2nd will be a sell-off? Okay, I talked about this in the video that I made today as well. Check that video out, but we will cover it, okay? Just like, so I'm comparing this structure. We're calling this the tariff sell-off, right? We're calling this the tariff sell-off. Tarriff. I don't know if that's right. I don't think that's right. Listen, I'm a seller, not a speller. I think it's that. I don't know. We're going to put this here. We're calling this the tariff sell-off, okay? And what I want to talk about, April 2nd, is the gloom and doom day, right? What I want to talk about with the war in Israel specifically, okay? And this is what you need to understand about the markets. It's not the events that the markets don't like, okay? That's going to sound crazy. That's going to sound counterintuitive. I got it. It's not the events that the markets don't like. What the market does not like is uncertainty. Whether it's World War III, whether it's Silicon Valley Bank going to zero, whether it's FTX going to zero, whether it's whatever the president is, whether it's economic recession, whether it's tariffs, it doesn't matter what the event is. That's not what the market doesn't like. The market doesn't like uncertainty. And these things can be a negative narrative that pulls the market down until the market is used to it. Listen, no matter how much you hate the orange man or love him, I promise you, World War III being on the brink of happening was not worse than the tariffs. Or excuse me, the other way around. Tariffs was not worse than World War III. I'm sorry, it wasn't. Okay? It's just not. It's just not. And guess what? The war continued and Bitcoin went higher. So this can be a narrative. The tariffs can be a narrative until it's not. Until the market gets used to it. Not until they go away. Until the market is used to the certainty. 100K back to 85, 87, then 120. I'm not mad at that prediction at all. That's probably in the car. That's probably in the cards for sure. Because we're not just going to break straight to 118. And I even have it already over here. Right here. Look, you can see it. That's what I have. I got 90, 96, 97 coming back to 85. That's probably what's going to happen. So just call it 100K back to, this will be a bull trap, right? We're moving out of a bear trap, heading into a bull trap, because you got to think about the market. How does the market move? The market moves in the most painful way possible. Whatever will wreck the most amount of people, that's what it's going to do. So call it 100K, bull trap, back to 85K, bear trap again before breaking out. So I'm with Brandon on that. That's, I think, a very probable scenario. I think it's a very probable scenario. The most bullish news will be the ceasefire. Maybe. It's funny we get a small pump and we think we go... I don't know. That's what they said. They said the same thing, bro. They said the same thing right here. They said the same thing. Went from 25K to 29K. It's funny. We get a small little pump and then we think that we're not going to 12K. That's what they said right here. And then boom, face melting all the way to 48K. They said the same thing. I've seen the movie before. I just went over deep analysis, masterclass. I'm not like, well, this little squiggly line says we're going to go up, and so, or this squiggly line says we're going to go bad down, and tariffs are bad, and that just means, no. I give you a masterclass for free. What's the point of being a bear? I don't know. You're betting. Being a bear is like betting. It's literally you're betting on the US dollar. And that's a hard thing to do long term. It's a hard thing to do long term. Do you think the top was back in December? The local, not the macro. Ski, you're an amazing human, brother. I appreciate you. It was the local for sure. Just like I think it was the top, just like this was the top. Okay, let me answer your question fully. So was the December the top? Okay, yeah, sure. If 41K was the top back in January, that's how I view this being the top. And so, like, when we're looking at the chart like this, it absolutely, Bitcoin goes to 10x, comes back 30%. You would absolutely, in your right mind, say that that was the top. That's how I view December. December was the top, just the same as January of 21 was the top. And by the way, just the same as the total 3. Look at the total 3. Everyone's like, when was the last time that altcoins were at their bear market lows? I don't know, the last cycle. How about that? How about the last cycle? Okay, so here's January of 21. It's the same time frame. So if like this is the December top of present day to me for Bitcoin. Look at the total 3. They're at their bear market lows. This is the same time. This purple circle is the same date as this purple circle. This purple circle is the same date as this purple circle. They're the same time. So yeah, was December the top? If you say that this was the top, that's what I would say. And look at the total 3. The total 3 is nowhere near where it went at this time. Look at the end of the story. This is the same time, January of 2021. Look, January of 2021, Bitcoin does a 10x. Here's where the total 3 was. January of 2021. It's at the bear market lows in 2021, a year after the halving. Come on now. Solnik's running. Solnik is my number one 100x play, period. What do you think, macro top? November? Yeah, that's what I think. I think we're going to have a run between now and May for the total 3. I think the total 3 does a minimum of a 50% move between now and May. I've said that all along. And from 2022, my thesis has been the top is in October/November of 2025. We'll see how we'll see how May rolls around. I'm going to be looking for divergence. I'm going to be looking for all these things to really, I have a video, 5 reasons the bear market has not started. If those start happening, if the reasons why the bear market hasn't started yet, if those reasons start happening, well, I might change my tune. I'm going to let the market lead me. But yes, October, November is when I think the peak euphoria is going to look like. And going to be. You kind of look like Brandon Needham. I have no idea who that is. Do I dare look him up? It's also possible that they know that you think it will be a bull trap and then they trap us and fly high. Yeah, you're talking like how the bears talk, like, well, what about the black swans? Can't forget about the black swans, Ski. Can't forget about the black swans. Don't you dare forget about the black swans. That's what they say when they're wrecked. And they're just praying, please, for the love of God, I am face-meltingly cooked. Please, a black swan, please. That's what the bears say at the last, like, ditch. And then they go into hibernation. You don't hear anything from them until we get another 20% pullback. And then like, see, I was bearish all along. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. All right. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. ICP going over 20 by May. That's very possible. Did the total 3 have a double top 2? It certainly did. Yep, sure did. Ski been watching too much Tyler Trades. I have no idea who that is either. Listen, I'm going to tell you all the truth. Here's the truth. I don't watch other content creators. I will live and die by my own sword. If I'm right, I'm right. It's because I came to this conclusion myself. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it's my own thoughts, my own stream of consciousness. I don't want to be influenced. I want to have my own thoughts, my own analysis, and give you the most raw, uncut ski. Is that how bears talk? Yes. It's exactly how the bears talk. I don't make the rules. Love your content. Thank you. Travis, thanks for the money gun. Dust, thank you for the roses. Jesus. Eth, thanks for the heart. Irish Dano, thanks for the goat and the heart. Callie, thanks for the goat and the lightning. And thank you for the let 'em cook, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Chris says, are we bearish? No. Did you just miss the last 15 minutes? This is a micro bear trap and a macro bear trap, in my opinion. I'll just give you a quick little synopsis of everything that I just went over. On the top, from the top, everyone, on the top, I have Bitcoin on the daily chart from the C19 crash March 20th through January of 2021. On the bottom is the total 3, which is the altcoins. Everything not Bitcoin and Ethereum. The same time. March 20 through January of 2021. Look at how flat the total 3 is. Okay, and you might be like, well, that's just how he has it. No, it ain't. 2.2x, okay? 2.5x, 2x. Bitcoin does a 10x during the same time frame. And then has a bear trap, wrecks all the bears. Here's the same time frame. Bitcoin goes on to do another 1.2x from here. From this bear trap, it does a 1.2x. And then here's the total 3. That's the end of the story. Big D, thanks for the lightning, bro, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Please and thank you. Should I swap an XRA for another Ethereum-based network coin? Which would you suggest? Probably Flux if you were going to. I think an XRA retraces. Excuse me. My top value plays right now as of the time of recording. Solnick. News. H&T, Rose, ICP, Shiba, Dent, VeChain, Naka, IOTA, Flux, Theta, Krill, Suki, Raven, Dynex, Dot, LCX, Sauce, Hee, Crow, Phantom, 1, XYO, ADA, and Link. Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin chart's on the top. All right, let's do the micro analysis. All right, we're going to recap. There's a lot more people in here. We're going to recap. Micro analysis. We just went over the macro. How I think this is a macro bear trap. Let's look at the micro. Look at the micro. Okay, on the top we have Bitcoin. During the war in Israel. Okay? This is on the daily chart. On the top is Bitcoin during the war in Israel. This is from March of 2023 through October of 2023. And on the bottom, we have Bitcoin from December through present day. Okay? And we're actually going to put this on the 5-hour chart. The top is going to be the the daily chart. Okay? All right. So look. Let's do this again. This is the same structure and a terrible sentiment, right? The war. There is not. Listen, I know the tariffs suck. World War III is worse. I promise you. That was, you might be like, it wasn't World War III. It was just a war. That was being shoved down our throat 24/7. We're going to World War III. You got to get drafted. That was what was being shoved down our throat by every media network. All right? Listen, as much as you might hate the tariffs, that was worse. I promise. It was worse. Okay? All right, so what do you got? You got a top right here. You got a top right here back in December. And then you go a little bit higher in July. You go a little bit higher in January. You start to just kind of skid down the slow little creek. And then boom, selling climax. You start to skid down creek. And then boom, you lose it all. 16+% correction in a matter of a week. Both times. Selling climax. Okay? Selling climax. Why do I say it's a selling climax? Because the rules of Wyckoff state, the selling climax, the secondary test goes lower than the selling climax, even though the selling climax is the actual bottom. The secondary test goes lower. That's textbook. Textbook. The secondary test goes lower. Okay? Secondary test lower than the selling climax. Secondary test in March of 2025 goes lower than the selling climax. Also, confirmation. How do we know it's a selling climax? Okay, well, look at the daily RSI. This big fall off. Look at the RSI right here. It went to 7.89. And then you continue to go lower as you have a divergence. The RSI is now raising. This point goes lower right here. September 11th, 2023 goes lower than August, but the RSI is higher. That's a divergence. That's why this is the selling climax. Okay? Well, do we have that right now? Let's see. We sure do. Selling climax. Lower than the secondary test on the RSI, even though the price is reverse. That's a divergence. Okay, so what's next? Let's zoom in. How's the rest of the story play out? Let's see. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. What's next? Higher or low? Higher or low? Higher high? Higher high? Breakout. Okay, what do we have? Higher low? Higher low? Higher high? Higher high? What's next? Come on now. Y'all getting a master class. Sup, fam? What up, fam? How much did the total 3 increase after the bear trap? It was more, it was like a 6x. Let's go. How high do you think ADI will go by May? I think at least $2, $2 to $4 is what I think. What is the best coin for long-term investment? Probably Bitcoin. Still. There you guys go. All right, let's get into it. You're getting angry. Have Miss Ski relieve some stress, relieve some pressure. She's taking care of the kiddos. Thanks for the hat and mustache. Yeehaw!
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Thank you for the heart, Diane. I appreciate you. You savage. Thanks for the heart, Paul. You savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
All right, he says Pinlink prediction. Okay, Pinlink is one. I got a lot of hate for being... Listen, I was bearish on Pinlink in November. I got a lot of hate for being bearish on Pinlink in November. I actually think Pinlink's a pretty good buy right now, to be honest. I don't know anything about it, but just from a technical perspective, I like the chart on Pinlink. I was a extreme bear on Pinlink in November. On my mama, on everything I love. Because this is what This is the chart that I had back in November. Okay, this is what we saw. I'm going to show you the date. This is literally what I saw back in November. So right here is December. So yeah, listen, I missed another, when was it? Here we go. I missed another 1x. I'm sorry. I missed another 1x. Excuse me for missing another 1x. Listen, in November through December, I was like, listen, if you were my brother, I would take profit. That's what I kept saying about Penlink. I was like, this is not sustainable. That's what I kept saying. And I got a lot of hate for that. And there you go. That's how the story ended. Did I call it on the day? No, I didn't. I was a day early and $1 short, which is how I will always be. Before it crashed 89%. All right. I don't know anything about Penlink. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. But what I do know is from a technical perspective, I don't mind this chart. This is distribution. And then you have a markdown, strong markdown, selling climax. Maybe you get a secondary test. Maybe you get a spring. It's still working on accumulation, but it's broken the downtrend. Relatively, this is your selling climax to me. This got super deep. Okay? That's your selling climax. Relatively, that's the bottom. Can it go down another 10, 20, 30%? Sure. But the structural bottom, hear me, that's it. It'll probably just retrace from here, which is about $2.88. Ski are grabbing any coin for a future bull run. Solnick, my number one 100x play that I believe in right now and for the next 10 years. It's different this time. Can you do AVAX? I like AVAX. I think AVAX goes 2 to 350. I think it's a solid play, and I'm really bullish on the AVAX ecosystem because rising tides floats all ships. That's one of the reasons that we put Solnick, where you could buy Solnick on the AVAX chain. The main chain, obviously, is Solana, but you can also buy it on Base, and you can also buy it on AVAX. Base was because I promised we would put it on Base, but we put it on AVAX because that was a strategic move. Rising tides floats all ships. Okay, so you can buy Solnick on AVAX. It's on the AVAX ecosystem. Yeah, so I think it's going to perform very well. Pepe, I think, does a 2 to 4x. Are we cooked? If you like A5 Wagyu, seared, based in butter, well, you don't base a A5. If that's the type of cook that you're talking about, then yes. If you're talking about something else, no. Yeah, that happened. That's just a wallet feature. You think Pepe has a chance to get back to 12 billion? Yeah, I think it goes to an all-time high. Bear trap into a bull trap into a bigger bear trap. Probably, yes. What is he saying? Okay, that's good. Let me clarify what he's saying because I'm with him. I understand what he's saying. But let me work that out for everyone else. Okay? Because you're right. And listen, hear me now. When we go to call it 100K, it's probably going to be 95, 97, whatever. The bulls are going to come out. And they're going to be beating their chests. They're already starting to. Right? Then we're going to pull back to 85. And the bears are going to come out of hibernation. Listen, this is what I think is going to happen. I think he's right. This is my analysis. So basically, right here it is, okay? I think we're going to rise into, call it 100K, but really it's like 95, 96, 97. So this was a bear trap into a bull trap, right? Super bullish. Pull back to 85, an even bigger bear trap. The bears will come out of hibernation and be like, ha, we didn't even make an all-time high. Nah. And then they're going to get wrecked. And that's when we're going to make an all-time high. So yeah. Google Pay. Yes, we have a meeting. They're going to do a demonstration, John Boy, on Wednesday. So the Wednesday live stream, me and the on-chain people, they're going to do a demonstration on how it's going to work. And it should be ready within 1 week to 4 weeks. And I'll ask him on the Wednesday's live stream when is the exact date that they have for us. But yes, they're going to be doing a demonstration on the Wednesday's live stream on how it's going to work. So very, very close. Just crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure everything is good to go. Jay says question mark. What do you think saying question mark about? I didn't see what you said before that. I'm buying Solnic, VeChain, Bitcoin for the future and bulls. How high can AVAX go? My target's about 350. Ski, do you see that happening with Bitcoin April, May? Yeah, I think Bitcoin gets an all-time high by then. Thoughts on ICP? I think ICP is going to perform very well. Minimum $30+. And it could get over $100 if it wants to go parabolic. But minimum of $30, which is a lot of, that's still really good. When will AVAX hit 350? By the end of the bull run, which is by November, in my opinion. What about osmosis? Are you talking about Atom? Is that what you're talking about? Block's a good buy right now. I think so. I mean, it did a 13% today, so maybe wait for a pullback. But, yes, I mean, relatively, I think it's at the bottom. Ondo. I was never a huge fan of Ondo. I think it'll be all right. It'll do like a 3 to 4x maybe. It just already did a lot, right? And it's already a major market cap. It's not some small micro cap gem. And there's lots of inflation. Dynex is starting to move too. Boring, boring, boring until it is not. Until it is not. Do you think all the ISO 2022 coins will move together? Absolutely. Yes, except for Quant. Quant just does its own thing. Theta, I like Theta. Still under 10 million. That's insane. Thoughts on Virtual? Virtual has a little bit too much inflation for me. Can you check Poll, please? That's Polygon, right? That's the new ticker. They've updated their ticker, correct? Quant's been driving me crazy. Yes. Listen. I don't know why. So, for whatever reason, this... All right, I'm just going to analyze this off of here and just give you a micro pull. But I think that this is your bottom right here. This is your selling climax and your secondary test. So this is lower than right here. But relatively, this is your bottom. You might go a little bit lower, but structural bottom. Hear me when I say bottom. I'm not saying that on this hour at this time, we're never going to touch it again. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the structure. The structure of how the bottom forms. Okay? It's very much flirting with breaking this downtrend. I'd argue it already has. Right? I would argue that it already has. So yeah, I think that relatively this is the bottom. We could chop a little bit. Retracement is 53 cents just off of this. And then bull run is $2.22 just off of this. But you have the other data, which would bring you to $4 to $9. Thoughts on ICP? I already went over that. Dynex versus Flux. Dynex, I think, has more upside. Flux has more guaranteed to me. Quant's been driving. Yeah. I think Quant's going to do well. Terra's AI, Pepe, Doge, or Shib. I'd probably... Doge, I think Shib out of those has the most ROI, but man, I hate looking at like 0.00000. I hate that. I hate it. I just want to look at the price and know, am I up or down? I don't want to sit there and count zeros. I hate that. I hate any coin that has 600 and 426 69 trillion supply. I hate it. Realistically, Shiba probably has the most ROI, but I'd probably pick Doge out of those. But I think Doge is going to perform very well. TARS AI. All right, we'll look at it one time. One time for the one time. Yeah, it hasn't broke the downtrend. Listen, I'm not a... This is accumulation, breakout, downtrend. It hasn't broke it yet. So yeah, you're just waiting for it to break this downtrend. I wouldn't classify this as a breaking a downtrend yet. Best case scenario, this is your selling climax, and you got more chop to do. That's best case scenario. Worst case, I mean, there's no support. Like, it already broke all the support. What's the inflation on this? This leads me to believe, like, high inflation. I don't know. Is it high inflation? A little bit. Not a crazy amount. Within, it's close to within tolerance. It's all right. Yeah. You just got to break a downtrend. If this is your selling climax, retrace them as 30 cents. All right. Oh my God. Look at these people that are wrecked. All right, TikTok, we're done. We're done. We are done. All right, I'm going to submit an appeal. They're going to let me back on. This is what happens. I say something negative about a cult-like coin because I don't live in an echo chamber. You hear me? There's no more charts for TikTok. Never. Never again. For the next 6 months minimum, there's no charts on TikTok, and you're not even getting a nice camera. You're going to get my crappy iPhone. You ungrateful. You're done. Over. John Boy, thanks for coming. Remember, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Came from TikTok. TikTok is done, bro. We're not live streaming charts anymore. Let me submit an appeal on my phone. I gotta do a because you gotta like message them directly, right? I'm gonna do that real quick. Whenever they let me back on, listen, I promise you on my mama, we're not doing it. I'm not playing these stupid games. I said it from the beginning. We're not doing it. I'm not doing it. All right, let me do this real quick. Frauds. I did not violate guidelines. All right, TikTok is done forever for 6 months. You guys are going to get my face on a crappy little iPhone because you guys don't know how to act. That's it. I might even do my iPad and make it even more crappy. All right. I submitted it. Whenever they decide to let that back, we're going live on my phone, and that's going to be the end of that. Thank you for the $1.99 donation, brother. I appreciate you.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Just give Ski 3 minutes. Can finish your cigar now. I can finish my cigar now. Let's finish the cigar now. Good idea. Be careful making those videos while driving. I'm just driving and talking. I just yap. I talk. Listen, I'm a creator and I have this like energy. I have this thing where I have to create. Okay. That's just me. I talk like that, whether I'm being recorded or not. My wife, how I work through my videos is I talk out loud. I'm like, da 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 da. Nope, that's not right. Da 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 da. I'm talking out loud. Sometimes my wife is down here and she's like laughing at me. I'm like, get out of here. I'm making video. Get out of here. So listen, I do that whether I'm recording or not. All I do is like I clamp my camera and I press record and just like it's just recording me talking. That's it. Because I'm going to be doing that either way. Where do you buy Solnic and what's your prediction for Solnic? You could buy Solnic. The easiest way right now is Phantom or Soulflare. So you have the ability already to buy it on Phantom using PayPal, Apple Pay, Google, all that stuff. So you can just buy Solana, send it to Phantom, and swap it. That's the easiest way right now. But you can buy it on Radium, Jupiter, Soulflare, Phantom, Seto X, and then very soon you're going to be able to buy it using just Google Pay. And my prediction for Solnic is 10 cents minimum, or I will shave my beard. 7.5 cents is the real number for the beard, but the real number is 10 cents. Medium case is $1. Bull case is $5.89. Listen, TikTok, we're done. I warned you in the beginning of the live stream. I said, I'm not on no BS today. I said, we're not doing it. And so now you guys ruined it. You just get like a shitty iPhone. That's it. No more FX3 for you. No more charts for you. You get my shitty iPhone and that's it. Can finish my cigar now. Yeah. All right. Zeus on Solana. I think we've been over this, but I think I can do Dex tools now. Because I know they don't like Dex tools for sure. But I'll look it up on Dex tools for you because I know that TikTok doesn't like Dex tools. So let's see what we got. ZEUS. $150 million market cap. Is this the right one? 4.4 million in liquidity. No red flags there. Didn't quite make an all-time high. Probably say this is a double top accumulation here. Hasn't quite broke the downtrend just yet. Very much flirting with it. It needs to make a higher high to confirm that. It's very, very close. But this to me looks like your selling climax. Retracement is about 70 cents. Parabolic is $2.35. Thanks for the donation and your support. I appreciate you. How long do you take you to pay off your house? 2 crypto cycles. Probably about that, yeah. Yeah, because my first serious cycle was 2017, and I made all the same mistakes, guys. Listen, I made all the same mistakes. I made some money, but I got wrecked more than anything. And I learned a lot of hard lessons, and I bought the top of a lot of coins. EOS, Dash, I'm still down to this day. So I made all the same mistakes back in 2017. But in 2018... instead of like just being like, man, crypto sucks, it's a scam. Instead of being like, I'm going to do drop shipping now, I'm going to do whatever, I doubled down on crypto. And I figured out like, why did I just take this L? What happened here? And I started really diving into it and learning about it and really mastering my analysis, my technical analysis. And by 2021, I had a very, very good understanding of TA And I did the same thing. I did it way better in 2021. I basically sold all of my crypto at like 50,000. I didn't quite get the absolute top. I got some of the top because I was DCAing out. But my average price was around 50,000 Bitcoin, and that's where I sold all of my altcoins. I did a 50x on, or like a 40 or 50x on Matic, which is kind of why I'm kind of partial towards Matic now, because it was my first like major win outside of Bitcoin in the altcoins that I actually realized and didn't theorize. And then, you know, in 2022, I started really aggressively accumulating and really even honing in on my skills even more. And I'm still doing that. It's still a constant refinement. But, you know, for the last 3 years, I went from like very good elite. And I feel like I have very much mastered it. I still make mistakes, but, and I'm still trying to hone in and make it even better and better each and every day. Just turned in ski. What happened on TikTok? Listen, there's a cult-like following on Terra's AI. I said something negative, and one of those like idiots reported me, because instead of just like I did, licking your losses, licking your wound, figuring out what the hell happened, they want to be like, no, my cult is awesome and this cult sucks. And the fact that TikTok even has that ability is crazy. So from now on, I'm not showing charts on TikTok, nor are you getting a good camera on TikTok. You're getting my shitty iPhone for the next 6 months. I'm done playing games. It's crazy that people even have that ability to do that. It's insane. So if you want the best viewing experience, it's going to be on YouTube and Twitter from now on. So that's it. I will still be uploading on TikTok and doing all that stuff, but I am definitely shifting focus to YouTube and TikTok and X at this point, because it's insane. Every day, every week, like I would say 4 to 5 days a week, this happens. It's insane. It is a insanity. And so I'm not dealing with it. That's what we're going to do. So if you want the best experience, make sure you subscribe. Let's get this cigar going. Because and Big Brother doesn't like cigars either. But you know, a lot of crap was said about YouTube in 2022, right? They said, you know, the censorship and all these things, right? They said about the censorship and all this stuff. But listen, I made 2,000 videos. I've had many videos taken down on TikTok. I've had many live streams suspended on TikTok. Never, not one time, have I had a video taken down on YouTube. Never. Never, not one time. Never have I ever had one video taken down on TikTok. Doesn't exist. Or excuse me, YouTube. So as much as people want to talk about censorship and all this and that, like, my God, TikTok is on a different playing field, even though it's like viewed as this like censorship free thing. It's not. It is not. But I appreciate you guys. You guys are the real savages for supporting this channel. Appreciate you. Broski. You guys want broski? You guys don't want broski? Nah, bro. Market cap don't even matter, bro. You got the Swift system. That's broski. Can Cass pull a Matic if smart contracts release soon? Listen, I think Cass has bottomed. I said it. That was one where I had... All right, let's hone in what I'm about to say here. I want to be honest, a weakness that I'm still working on. I've said this before. A weakness that I'm still working on. I'm still working on it. I will see the correct move, and I will be impatient and move off of my analysis too soon. I've done this a few times. Caspa was one of the coins that I did that on. And on record publicly, I thought that this was the top. And technically, by distribution, okay, so let's... And one thing I'm going to start really teaching on in the membership and with Patreon, I'm going to start really going in on distribution. Because we're kind of getting out of accumulation. And the next phase, over the next 6 months, over the next year, is going to be more about distribution and how to spot that, right? This is very, very textbook distribution right here. So what I thought back November of 2023, I thought this was the top for Caspa. I really did. And I was certain that it was going to come back to 5.5 cents to 7 cents. That was my target. Well, guess what? It did it. It went to 5.5 cents, just like I thought it would. But I did not think that Caspa would get a nice, healthy distribution. By the way, this makes me very confident in Caspa's long-term, because you get a healthy distribution like that. That's very good long-term. It shows health, that it's not just ran by retail, right? This is health right here. This is institutions. That's what that looks like. But this is very classic distribution here, and I already have it on here, but I'll show you. Let's bring up the Wyckoff. Okay. Where is it? So distribution. You have a buying climax. That is your top. So when I thought that in November of 2023 that this was the top, technically I was right. Even though you went higher twice. 2 higher peaks, right? But that is the buying climax. The buying climax is the top, even though the upthrust goes higher, and then the UTAD goes higher. Okay, UTAD is a variable. Sometimes you get a UTAD, which is a reverse of a spring. Sometimes you don't. That's a variable. Sometimes you get a spring, sometimes you don't. Okay, that's Wyckoff. Sometimes you get a spring, sometimes you don't. UTAD is a variable. Phase C does not always happen. But when it does, textbook would tell you it goes higher than the upthrust, and the upthrust goes higher than the buying climax. That's what it got. So when I thought that this was the top, I was correct. It just did a nice, healthy distribution, upthrust and a UTAD. And then it starts to work down. This is your mark down, and now it's in the beginning of accumulation. This is essentially what I think is going to happen for Caspa. But I think that the bottom is in relatively, right? You might get a secondary test that goes a little bit lower than the buying climax. You might get a whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the structural bottom is in, and it's going to work its way out of here. I'm very encouraged by Caspa long term that it did this. This is a very good sign. Super good. But yeah, I think that Caspa is going to perform very well. I think it gets a 45 cents as high as like 66 cents on the next run. So yeah, it eventually, anyways, I said all that to say, it eventually hit my target of 5.5 cents. That was my target back in 2023. What whiskey you having tonight? I'm out of whiskey. I gotta go to the. I have like 5 that I always get, and then I'll like test a new one out. But I always get What do I always get? I always get Woodford Reserve. I always get Buffalo Trace. I always get what else do I get? What was the one I just finished off? Oh. I don't remember what it was. 1782 or something like that. What is it called? I can't think what it's called. But there's like 4 or 5 that I always get, and then I'll get a one to experiment with. Why no live on TikTok? Because people are haters on TikTok, man. Someone reported me because I said something negative about Tars AI. And they suspended my live. So this happens a lot. And listen, I'm not going to be... I'll do lives on TikTok, but it's going to be from my phone. I'm not showing my chart anymore. I'm not doing that nonsense. And I'll see if they approved it, and I'll come back live. But it happens. This happens like 4 or 5 times a week. It's the most annoying thing in the world that their system is set up this way. Where just any random person... Appeal approved. There you go. So we're already back. We're so back. We're so back. Back like we never left. All right, we're going live. But listen, I promise you on my mama, we're not doing it. TikTok gets a boring ass. That's all they get. They get a boring ass little iPhone, and that is the end of it. There is no more good quality on TikTok. If you want the best viewing experience, head to YouTube. Dano, Uncle Nearest. I had some Waller tonight. Have some built. Okay, we're back on TikTok. We're back on TikTok. TikTok! I warned you. I warned you. Whoever the haters were. Look. It sees me smoking. Look at this. I warned you, TikTok. Whoever the haters were. That I said something bad about Terra's AI. I said, block me and move on. This is it. This is how you guys are going to have it from now on. I have the ability to get you the high quality stream where you can see my charts and you can do all this stuff. But we're not doing it no more. You're just going to get a shitty little iPhone. And if you want the best viewing experience, you can head to YouTube. Because that's where my charts are going to be. That's where the high quality audio is going to be, and all that. And that's how we're going to keep it for a minimum the next 6 months until TikTok fixes their nonsense. Because I am over it. It's the dumbest thing in the world that someone just randomly has the ability to do that. Listen, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I do all kind of stuff wrong. I've made personal mistakes. But my God, I do my best. And I show up every day in the worst of times and the best of times. And I try to always admit my mistakes. And I try to always hold myself accountable. And I try to do the very best for the most amount of people that I possibly can. And I'm always working on my craft, trying to make it better and better and better. Sensitive people. I know, right? Add your YouTube link. It's at your boy Ski. YABOYSKEY. Dano, could you give them the link, please? Is it also possible that they know that you think it would be a bull trap? I don't know what you're saying, bro. So that's it. There's no more charts on TikTok for the next 6 months. There's no more camera on TikTok. You're getting a shitty iPhone and that's it for the next 6 months. I'm over it. I'm over the nonsense. And if you want the best viewing experience, you could head to YouTube. I'm live right now with my charts. All right, let's get back into it. Oh, man. And by the way, if you come from TikTok, let me know you came from TikTok. I'll shout you out. But still, spam the like button, hit the share. Crown Royal for me. Sorry, walking my goldfish. Which link did you need? The YouTube link to this live stream for them. Please and thank you. I think on Fridays too, Friday evening, we're gonna do a a members only live stream like the entire time. I think that's what we're going to do, where I'm going to be smoking some cigars, drinking some whiskey, and I'll be doing some, relaxed, but go into your guys' stuff. So I think every Friday evening we're going to do a members only on YouTube and a members only on TikTok stream. So is it possible that they know that you think we will be bull trap and trap us and fly high? I think we're heading into a bear trap, into a bull trap. Bull trap. Bear trap, into a bull trap, into a bear trap, into a fly high. That's what I think. I came from my mom. Damn. Yes, quality over anything. Here from TikTok, G. Let's go, you savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Let's go, you savage. By the way, ETH quietly. I just saw this. ETH quietly back above $2,000. It hasn't quite broke the downtrend here in the micro, but quietly back at $2,000. I think Ethereum is super oversold at this point. I mean, maybe not at this super micro point, but I mean, just in the macro. People are saying just a small movement, dead cat bounce, lower high. Fantastic. That's wonderful news. That's why I think it's going to be it's a bear trap right now into a bull trap. Let me give you my synopsis of what I think. That's music to my ears, by the way. Music to my ears. Whatever people think is wrong. What people think is never correct. Never. I've never seen it be correct. Never, not one time. This is what I think is going to happen. So this is a bear trap to me. We're going to head into a bull trap. Right? Into 97,000, 100,000, 95,000, whatever you want to call it. A high or low. Right? And then we're going to go into another bear trap back to 85K. They're going to come out of hibernation and be like, "Man, see, I told you, you couldn't even make a new all-time high." And then into the actual run. That's what I think. That's what I think. Did you guys get the link yet? Is it letting you post the link? Impressions make me laugh so hard. Any giveaways, bro? We've given away 45 million. Solnick. Bull run, you mean? What do you mean by that? 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 Seems a little low for a dead cat bounce. Technically, that's the 618. That'd be a pretty common move to go to 97. They have an argument, but I'd strongly disagree. I told you, Ski, we're going to 12K Bitcoin. Ski. But Ski, my wife's boyfriend said we're going to 12K. Trust me, he's got a Coinbase. You said trap and then run. Yeah. What are we arguing about here? Search at your boy Ski on YouTube. That's where you can see my charts and all of that. And the high quality stream. I missed the 1 million buy Solnick match. Buy 1 million Solnick right now. And hold it for 30 days. The first person to do it. Those are the OG days. Is it a dead cat bounce or a dead cat bounce? I call it a cat bounce. I hear a lot of people call it a cat bounce. I see a lot of people type it as a cat bounce. I don't call it a cat bounce. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the answer is. I call it a cap. Yeah, if you want to see the chart, what I'm talking about, I have it laid over right now, what we're talking about, what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to bounce. This is a bear trap. 78K is a bear trap into a micro bull trap, 97K, 100K, 95K, whatever. That's a micro bull trap into another bear trap of 85K into the actual rest of the euphoric run. Did the cat bounce after you shaved it? Yes. Cats always land on their feet. I don't like this angle. Like, what is this angle right now? Sorry, guys. That's all you get. What's a bear trap? A bear trap is trapping the bear. So if you say, so there's bears and there's bulls. If you're bearish, you're betting that you think that the market is going to go down. You have a bias towards being bearish. You think that the market is going to go down. If a bear were to hit you, it would smite you to the ground. That's why it's bearish. And if you're bullish, you think that the market's going to go up. If a bull were to hit you, it would hit you up into the air, right? So if it's a bear trap, that means you get a micro move down or a move to the downside, and then the bears get very confident and they start shorting at a high level, and then they're wrong and they trap their liquidity. That's what a bear trap is. A bull trap is the opposite. It's a setup, a technical setup that looks clean for a bear or a bull, and then they start investing their money or trading in a way where they're going to be wrong. What does that sound? It's this thing right here. Just messing with it. Might be a good idea to low leverage long on Bitcoin. I think so. I mean, I think minimum Bitcoin goes to 95K right now in this micro move. That doesn't mean tomorrow, but in the micro. In the micro, that's what I think. But all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for this time. I'll be live tomorrow, probably about the same time. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. You for real on the 30-day? What do you mean on the 30-day? I don't mean by that. But yeah, listen. There's no more TikTok charts. TikTok, you ruined it. You're done. You're cooked. There is no more TikTok charts for the next 6 months. If you want the highest viewing experience, it's going to be on YouTube from now on. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.